Dear friend, what often limits us is an inner factor rather than an exterior one. Proof of this is the inspiring story of Nicholas James Vujicic, or as everyone knows him, Nick Vujicic. He was born in 1982 in the city of Melbourne, Australia, without arms, legs, and with 2 small feet, due to tetraamelia syndrome. Do you think this prevented him from conquering the world and achieving his dreams? Never. It wasn't the lack of arms and legs that made him give up on achieving great things in life. Today, Nick Vujicic is a motivational speaker, and in his speeches he says, "Disabled is not who was born without legs and arms, but those who try to do something and cannot." But the path to achieving this positive behavior was not easy. Just by surviving birth, Nick Vujicic is already a winner. But this was only the first of many battles he would still face in his life. Every day he learned and evolved in some way. Actions that seem easy for those who have legs and arms can be very difficult for those who do not have these limbs. Brushing teeth, eating alone, talking on the phone, or combing hair are some of these actions that required his willpower. But he learned to deal with all these situations. The next obstacle was his education. Nick lived in the Australian state of Victoria, which had a law that restricted students with any type of disability from attending regular school. This impediment was overcome after some changes in local legislation that made him one of the first physically disabled students to have access to regular education. When he thought he had overcome a great barrier, he realized that his problems were just beginning. And they were starting in the place where he most wanted to be, school. Overcoming difficulties like going to the bathroom, writing, using the computer was easy compared to overcoming people's ignorance. The bullying Nick Vujicic suffered while growing up made him very depressed. Even with his parents insisting that he shouldn't care about others, he still felt that nothing good could happen in his life. After many years of living with the ignorance and disrespect of others, he had some hope with a newspaper article. When he was 17, his mother drew his attention to a news story that told the story of a man with a great disability. Nick says that was like a snap in his mind, because it helped him realize that he was not the only one dealing with big problems. From that episode on, he started seeing beyond. Over time, Nick managed to rise higher and see above the clouds of ignorance and realize how his actions were an inspiration to many others. From that point on, he started to be grateful for being alive and healthy. He began giving speeches in his church prayer group and initiated great changes in his life. Later on, he graduated from accounting and financial planning courses at the age of just 21. After that, he began working hard to help other people around the world. Nick started giving interviews in media outlets and motivational speeches to young people in various countries. Additionally, he created his own nonprofit organization, Life Without Limbs. In a speech about his story, Nick said that the only limit we should have in life is the one we place on ourselves. And for that reason, it's necessary to realize that everything depends only on you. If you want to achieve something in life, you need to first dream, plan, set goals, and go after them to make everything happen. Believing in yourself and your infinite potential and never forgetting that you can achieve your dreams is fundamental. Keep this quote from Nick Vujicic in your mind. How wonderful it is when we get the opportunity to see that we can do more than our eyes can humanly see. Speaker Nick Vujicic is proof that we all have limits, even if they're not physical. And these limits must be understood and overcome to achieve our goals. To do that, it only takes creating strategies to overcome our problems. The steps you take today will define how you'll find yourself in your personal and professional life in the future. But Nick didn't let these circumstances define him. With the support of his family, he learned to adapt to his condition and developed incredible skills, such as writing, using computers, and even playing golf. Despite the obstacles, Nick found purpose in his life and became a motivational speaker, sharing his story and message of hope with the world. He founded a non-profit organization called Life Without Limbs, which aims to help people with disabilities overcome their challenges and find their own happiness. Nick has traveled to over 60 countries, sharing his story with millions of people and inspiring many to overcome their own difficulties. He is a living example of resilience and perseverance, and his story can teach us a lot about how to deal with life's adversities. For those who are going through difficult times, Nick's story can be a source of inspiration and motivation. If you are facing problems in your life, remember that you are not alone and that it is possible to overcome these difficulties. Life can be tough, but as Nick shows us, everything is possible if we have the determination and courage to face our fears and challenges. So, folks, that was the inspiring story of Nick Vujicic. We hope you have found inspiration and motivation in his story, and that you can apply these lessons to your own life. If you are going through a tough time and need help, remember that there are people and organizations that can help you. Don't be afraid to ask for help and seek the necessary support to overcome your challenges. Now, we want to hear from you. What is the most important lesson you have learned from Nick's story? Leave your comment below and share your own story of overcoming with us. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and activate notifications to receive more inspiring and motivational content like this. See you next time.